Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let us learn some more detail about AWS Glue, how to implement our ETL job by using AWS Glue. So the basic reason we implement ETL job is for integration, we use this ETL jobs. So that's the main purpose. By using this ETL jobs, we can able to do integration. That means we can able to integrate the data from different sources. So for that, let's move on with one real-time scenario. So what is the scenario, sir? I have some data in S3 and I have some data in DynamoDB. Now what I'm expecting is I want to get that two datas and I want to integrate that data and I want to again store the resultant data in my S3. That means what I'm expecting is I want to get the data which is present in S3 and I also want to get the data which is present in DynamoDB tables. And from those two, I want to create some result and store that result in S3. So that's what the thing that I want to achieve in this. So let's start that. So before moving to do that, let's check we have data under S3 and DynamoDB or not. So now I just opened, I'm just clicked on S3. You can see S3 management console is opening. Under this, I have a bucket is there. So inside my bucket, I have some data is there and script.py is there. So basically this script.py is the file, is the ETL script file that I am going to run. So this is the code that I am actually going to run. If you want to see this file, what is the content which is present under this file from here, then you just select this. Then you have an option under object actions. You can see an option that is query with S3 select. So just click on it. Then you just select the configurations and then move up. You can see a query is already written. I'm just removing this because if I still put this, then it only prints me 5 lines. Don't worry, I'll show you. I'm just clicking on run. It was running. Yeah, successful. You can see only up to 5 lines were printed. So that's what the limit it is. If you want to select all the data which is present in your S3 object, then you write this and then simply run again so that whatever the data present in your S3 object, that whole thing you can able to see from here. You can see this is the initial code which is present in my script. So this is the base code where on top of this code, I'm gonna write the actual code to get the data from S3 and DynamoDB and then find the result from those two datas. And then I again store my data into S3 bucket again. So in this way, you understood. I hope you understood. In this way, we can able to see the data which is present in S3 bucket objects directly from S3 management console by using queries. S3 SQL queries. So now let's move back to our bucket. You can see under bucket, I have data folder. I'm just moving on and checking. I have from 0 to 9 product data are there. So each data is in the JSON format. Let's open and see what the data which is present in it. So for that, I'm just again moving on with the object actions. You can see I have query with S3 select. So again, I'm moving on with the same thing. Since this is a JSON file, we need to select the format as JSON and I'm just moving it up. And again, I'm just removing this to print all the data which is present in S3 object. And again, I ran this SQL query. Now you can see we got these 5 lines. That means this is the data which is present under my S3 object. What it has a product ID. So remember this column that is a product ID because we are combining this S3 data with our table data based on this product ID only. Based on this product ID only, you are combining. And for a product ID, we also have one more thing, that is what? Weight. So based on product ID, we can get the weight from where? From S3 bucket, from S3 bucket data folder. From S3 bucket data folder, whatever the data we retrieve by using glue, from there we get this weight based on this product ID. So now let's move back to DynamoDB and check whether I have table in that DynamoDB or not. If I have table, then what table, what the data I have in that DynamoDB. I'm just opening my DynamoDB. Previously, before this lab only, I have just uploaded that data in my DynamoDB and S3. Now we are analyzing on it. You can see we have tables option. I just clicked on it. We have two tables. You just focus on this orders table. I just opening it. And in order to see the data inside our table, just click on explore table. Just move it up. Items returned. Currently it was loading. So yeah, completed. Read capacity units, it takes 0.5. And you can see this is the data that I have inside my table. That is a DynamoDB table. We have successfully opened the table. That means we have seen one table inside my DynamoDB. That is what? Orders table that I have. And inside my orders table, you can see this is what the data that I have inside my orders table. You can see it also has product ID. So based on this product ID only we are working now. So we have product ID and it also has price. So from this DynamoDB table, based on this product ID, can I able to pick this price for each and every item? The answer for this is yes. We can able to pick the data like price from this table items based on this product ID. So that's what we're gonna do now in practical by using ETL job. Now what I'm expecting is I want to pick this price from this DynamoDB table based on this product ID, and I want to pick weights in S3 bucket data, what we have seen just now by using ETL script, and I'm expecting to generate total price based on the quantities. So you can see quantities also present here itself. So based on this quantity, I want to get total price and total weight. I have weight stored under my S3 bucket data table, data objects. So that I need to pick, these prices I need to pick, this quantity I need to pick. And then based on the product ID, I want to pick these three, that is price, quantity, and what is that? S3 bucket data, that is weight. Yeah. So from that, I want to calculate total price for three quantities. What is the total price? For one quantity is it is this. For three quantities, the total price is 3 into 33.25. So what is the result? That is the total price. So that's what I want to calculate for total price. For total weight, so single item, the weight is something which was we have seen previously. And for three quantities, what is the item? 3 into single item weight, right? Yes. So those two things I want to calculate, and I want to save those two, and I want to store them inside my S3 bucket. Okay, now let's move on with glue jobs. So for that, first I'm opening glue. So now I'm searching glue in order to perform and HUR task by using glue ETL jobs. Now I just clicked on glue. Here you can see three options. That is, these are the three things that we need to do. We need to prepare an account for glue. I'm expecting to use my own IAM role for that. And I have catalog and sets for data sets. We have already seen the databases for that. Currently, now I am not using data catalog for doing ETL job. We can even do these ETL jobs on data catalogs where we can generate those catalogs by using crawlers. After crawling, we got our data under data catalog tables, database tables. Those database tables we can even able to perform ETL jobs. Now currently I'm expecting to perform this ETL job on sources, services like S3 bucket and DynamoDB table data. So currently I'm not even creating data catalog. Now I'm expecting to create a ETL job to do this. So now let us explore one more option. So under ETL job, just click it. So whenever you entered into ETL jobs, you first see three options. Those three options are visual editor and notebook, and third one is script. So what are these three options? So we have to have a question on that as well. This visual editor provides you a facility to create your ETL job by using visually. And this notebook will provide you an interactive Python notebook. So there you can write .ipynb script directly from AWS, and you can able to run that script from here itself. And whereas this script editor provides you a editor window for writing your Python script or Scala script to run your ETL job. Now we work on this script editor. So before moving to that, I'd like to show you this visual editor also. So in this visual editor, it is very simple. You need to select the sources. That is S3 is one of my source. And what is the another source? My DynamoDB is my another source, right? So I'm searching for it. You can see it was visible here. So now I selected those two. You can see those two will be came here. Now what I need transformation. So what type of transformation is I want to join that, or I want to execute some SQL query, then you can select this. So let's take, I'm expecting to join. So just select join so that your join will came here. Now you just attach those two to this so that these two came here. Now I need to configure my S3 related bucket name, right? So for that, you just select that S3 bucket and provide your bucket by browsing from here. You can even able to select that S3 bucket. I have this S3 bucket. I just selected this. Now I am clicking on choose option. You can see that is available here. I'm choosing that S3 bucket and data format. If you want to provide, then you can provide. Currently my data is in JSON format, so I provided that as well. You also have additional options for referring the schema of your data. So what you want to use? You want to take a sample or else choose a sample from your S3 bucket. So I'm providing S3 the flexibility to take a sample, and I'm just clicking on infer the schema from that sample. Okay. Now you can see some more details are there regarding this S3, that is a data preview and data schema. So from the selected object, it will refer the schema. So currently my bucket object has these three details, and they hold these type of data. So that's what the schema it is. Okay. Now in this way, you can able to provide S3 details. In the same way, you need to provide DynamoDB details as well. So what is my DynamoDB source? My source is what I need to choose. My DynamoDB source, what is that? Either it's a glue data catalog or directly a DynamoDB you want to choose, or else you want to load files from S3 to DynamoDB. Currently, I'm expecting to choose DynamoDB directly because my table is present directly in DynamoDB. And select your table. This is my table, so that's why I selected this. And after selecting this, You can also have this, that is output schema. So what does it takes? So there is a long data is there. So currently it was not showing you that schema. So that's it. Even there will be any mistakes or errors on top of your job. So you have an option, that is save that job. So first you need to save that job before you running it. So first you need to save it, then after run it. So before doing that, you need to do all the things. So this S3 data is fixed currently here. Yeah, one something is there, error here. So that error is that you have seen just previously, that is you need to enable that point in time recovery before doing this job. And in order to configure this transformation, just click on it, so that transformation details will came here. And you need to select which type of join you want. So these two are already selected. And then after this, where you want to store your data, that also you need to specify, right? These are the sources I need to take the data. And here in transformation, I need to perform this join transformation. And from targets, you can select your destination. Currently I'm selecting S3 bucket as my destination. You can see that came here. And now I selected this, and you can see we need to specify the destination here. So for that, it asking me the target location. I'm just moving on to browse again, and I'm selecting my same bucket, same source bucket as my destination, and just choose. I'm just choosing that. Yeah. So that's it. It was taken that. So you can see it was on tick mark, right? Yes. So we have done everything. That is, we have created our ETL job visually by using this visual editor. Now only thing left over here is just click on save and then run. So currently I'm not expecting to do that because I want to show you in script format. That is how to do this by using script. If you click here, then you can get the script. Currently I'm not showing you the script. I'm expecting to show you the script visually. That means I'd like to write it. So now I'm just clicking on again ETL jobs. Now in this, I have an option that is script. Currently, I'm expecting to write a Python script. So that's why I'm creating one script. So for this, I have two options. That is, you can able to start fresh script, or else you can upload a script. Currently, I'm having a script. So I'm choosing that. So this is my script. So I'm just choosing it, opening it. Or else the another way is you can start with a fresh script. So just click on create, or else you can upload this. So your wish. So currently I'm not working with the Spark type engine script. I'm working with Python shell script. So that's why I'm choosing one file, that is script.py, and I'm just uploading that. Yeah. So you have these three engines to write your code and edit your script. Now I'm just clicking on create script. You can see this is how the script was inside my code. I have already written some script. This is how the script was. Now I'm just explain the script, and then I will save this, and then after I'll run the script as well. So in this script, I have imported all the required libraries. So this Spark context and glue context are used to create your job. And you need to also import a job from AWS Glue. So only this Spark context you need to import from PySpark.context. So now you can see, if you want to provide any parameters while running your script, then you have this option. So for that, so currently I'm expecting to provide S3 bucket name as one of my parameters. So that's why I written like this. And you can see this is what your Spark context. You created an object for Spark context. Then by using that Spark context, we are again creating one more object for glue context. So now our glue context object is created and stored under your glue context variable. So now by using that glue context, we are just making a Spark session. So that's what we just created. So we have our Spark session. I need to again create some job, right? Yes. So by using this glue context, I'm again creating the job. So this job function we have taken from this AWS glue.job. We have imported that job function. So from this module, we have imported this function. Now I have provided a definition. This definition will finds you the total price as well as total weight. So what is the total price? It is nothing but product of quantity into price, right? Yes. So from where you are getting quantity and from where you are getting price, I gonna tell you. So we just defined that if I pass a record to this and that record contains quantity, price, and weight, then I'm just adding two more fields to my record, that is total price and total weight. Those two I added, and I again returning the same record back. So if I pass any record to it, then that record will be added with two more parameters, and then it just returns back some more data, and then it returns the same record back. Now you can see this is what we are taking the data from S3 bucket to this glue job. So by using this code only, we are taking the S3 bucket data, that is under S3. So whatever the S3 bucket name that we provide while running my job, this arguments will hold that data, and you can see this is the arguments. So how do we define it? By using get resolved options. So by using this get resolved options, whatever the system argument values that we pass while running our system, so for this variable, whatever the data you pass, that will be stored on top of this. So whatever the job related system arguments that you pass, that values will be stored for this variable. And then whenever you use it, so here we are using that. So here it will be replaced by the data that we provide. That is bucket name that we provide. And this is what data. Inside my bucket, I have data folder, right? Inside my data only, I have some JSON files. In that JSON files only, I have my data. So now I have provided my input path for my S3 bucket by using this. And whatever the glue context that we created previously by using Spark context and glue context, we are now using that context to create a frame, to create a dynamic frame. We are using that context from the options. So connection type is S3. So from that connection with this path, whatever the path that we provided, and recursively we are taking the JSON script format data. So this indicates, these lines indicates that information. So by using these lines, we are taking the data from S3 bucket data folder JSON files, and we are storing that data into this products frame. That is, we are creating dynamic frame from that S3 bucket data. So if we move it up, then we also need to take the data from DynamoDB, right? So this is for that. So in order to get the data from DynamoDB, these are the things we need to provide. We need to provide connection type. This is DynamoDB connection. Previously, we have provided S3 connection. Now we need to provide configuration options for the DynamoDB. So however we provided previously, like that we need to provide. So we need to provide a DynamoDB input table name, that is orders, and throughput read percentage. So what is the throughput read percentage that we need to provide? And DynamoDB splits also we need to provide. So that's it. So by using this glue context, create dynamic frame function dot from options function, we can able to read the data from our DynamoDB, this particular table, and by using this throughput rate and by using these splits, these number of splits, we can able to store that data in orders frame, right? Yeah. So now we got our data from S3 bucket and we stored under products frame, and we got our DynamoDB data and we stored the data under our orders frame. So what we require, we need to join the data, right? So in order to join the data, I have written a command. You can see orders frame. What is that? This is the DynamoDB data. So that I am joining with what? Products frame. So what is that? That is S3 data. I'm joining orders frame with products frame. That is a DynamoDB data. I'm joining with S3 data that we just picked. So based on what? Based on product ID. Based on this, I'm joining. So after joining, I got a joined frame. So that will be stored under this variable. Then after, you can see we need to transform that data, right? So based on the calculating totals for my record, I need to transform that data, right? Yes. So I have again mapping. So whatever the joined frame that I have, I'm mapping that with this function. So whatever the function that we just previously created, with that function, we are just mapping our joined frame. You can even write that function here so that it will be very clear to you. So I'm just writing that here just above to this so that it will be clear to you. Yeah. So by using this function, what I'm doing, I'm again transforming whatever the joined frame data I have. So whatever the joined data frame records I have, I'm transforming that data by using map function. So joined frame dot map of map based on what? This calculate totals. So by using this, each and every record from the joined frame will be passed to this function. Then it calculates us the total price, total weight, and append those two results in my record. So this is a syntax for assignment. Equal to symbol indicates assignment. And then it again return the same record. That means it again stores into the transformed frame. So like that, it was calculating, or you can simply assume like it's a transformation. Under my ETL job, it's a transformation. So now we need to save that file under S3, right? Yes. So in order to save our file under S3 in certain format, currently I'm expecting to save that file in CSV format. So in order to convert our data, current transformed data into the CSV format, we have an option that is dot to df. This df indicates data frame. So I am transforming this transformed data to data frames. So by using dot to df function, we're just transforming that to data frames. Now I need to move this data frames. I need to write this data frames in the format of CSV to my S3 bucket, right? Yes. So I need to do that. So for that, I have written data frame dot write. In which format I'm writing? CSV. So I selected dot format as CSV, and with options. What are the options? It has header, that is true, and I need to save in which location? In S3 in my bucket in my file.csv. In my file.csv, I'd like to store. So that's why I've written like this, the script. Now I'm just copying it again. So before running it, I just copied, and then you can save this file and then run it. So that's it. So I'm just clicking on save. Now I'm just clicking on save. So it was loading, and I also updated my job name like lab ETL job. I updated my lab this untitled name like that. So to understood it easily. And then I have now it was successfully updated. Now what I'm expecting to run this job, right? So that's why I'm clicking on run. So after saving, you need to run this. You can see on top, we got one message that is successfully started job. So you can navigate to run details for more details. You click here to see the run details, or just you click here to see the run details. I just clicked on run details. Now you can move back and you can click on runs also. You get into the same page. It was now running. You just refresh it. After running this job, so currently while running, you got into the state that is a running state. After finishing your job running, then it will reach to successful state or else failed state. So when do I got this failed state, sir? So whenever any required parameters or syntax errors or code mistakes, then you got this. So currently we got error that is due to glue arguments error. We have not passed arguments, right? But we return, we need to take some arguments from system, right? Yes. So we haven't passed those any arguments, but we return that. So let's pass those arguments. So what I'm expecting to pass, S3 bucket name I am expecting to pass. So currently I'm expecting to copy S3 bucket name. For that I'm opening my S3 in one more tab, and to copy the bucket name, I just opened my S3 bucket. So you can see this is how my bucket name will be. Now I'm just copying this data. So Control C, I just clicked. Now I want to run this job again. So I haven't updated anything. I'm just expecting to run. So in order to run, you have under actions tab. If you want to provide arguments and then run your ETL job, so then you don't choose this run button. If you want to run directly, then you choose this run button. Or else if you want to provide any arguments, then click on this actions and click on run with parameters. Then here you have many optional parameters. Under job parameters, you need to add one parameter. That is what parameter you want to add, that you need to add here and paste the bucket name. So that particular parameter value that you need to paste. Currently here my value is bucket value, so I pasted that. Now I click it on run job. So now your job will be run by using that parameter. So you can see successfully started our job. So now let's see under runs whether it was successfully run or maybe it was failed due to any mistakes or errors. I'm just reloading it. It takes few seconds or minutes in order to run your job, since it needs to get data from S3 bucket and it needs to get data from DynamoDB table, and it needs to combine that data based on product ID, and it needs to create a data frame, and it needs to store the data inside my S3 bucket, right? So that's why it takes some time. If the data is less, then the job will be easily performed. If the data will be more, then it takes more time to perform this job. Currently, I'm having many files in my JSON format in my S3 bucket, so that's why it is taking somewhat more time. Actually, by using this ETL jobs, you can able to perform integration and you can able to perform actions like that. You can see we got one more error, that is an error while running this. This due to what? The specific bucket does not exist. That's a specified specific bucket which does not exist. So where do I specify that bucket? So in my script, let us go and analyze where do I specify that bucket. You can see here we specified one bucket name. So I'm just overriding it. Yeah. So the bucket name is changed. So that's why it was came like that. Yeah, now let's save this again and run this again. Now I'm just saving it. Now our job got saved successfully, updated successfully. Now let's run this with the same parameter. In this way, if you got any errors while running your job, you are the person need to take care of those jobs by reading and analyzing that error. So now I again provided the data. So now I'm just running it again. Now it was successfully running. Now our job is successfully started. So let's see under runs. Yeah, it's on running state. I hope this time it will execute because I know those two errors will get. So in order to show you, that's why I failed my job 2 times, because you need to understand, right? So where you are getting errors and how to rectify those errors whenever you got those. So that's why I just moving on with those two errors. So in this way, you can able to create your jobs by using script. If you are familiar with Python script, then you can move on with that Python script, or you can even do this scripting by using Python notebook, that is i.pynb. If you are familiar with Jupyter notebook like that, then you can move on with Python script i.pynb. So currently I'm comfortable with Python, so I just moving on with Python script. So you can see succeeded. What is that? Succeeded. So now let's go to S3 bucket and verify whether I got my data inside that or not. So I just moved on to S3 bucket. Now I am opening my S3 bucket. You can see my file.csv. This is what we provided in my script. You can see we provided my file.csv. This is our destination folder we provided. So now let's check, do we got the data inside this or not? So you can see I have multiple CSV files. Yes. So we got saved multiple CSV files as a result in this. Now you can see I'm just opening the large file among these. I just clicked on it and I'd like to analyze the data which is present in it. That is, I got those two details. What are those two? Those two are my product, that is price, total weight. So I'm just remove that and running this SQL query on my object. So what is the SQL query? Select star from S3 object. So you can see this is how the result will be. This is the raw format result and this is the formatted result. So you can see it is clearly visible. This is some data because our data is distributed among multiple files, right? Yes. So you can see total weight is there as well as total price also there. So based on our product ID only, we got these two. You can see the product ID of this as well as this is same. So, and you can see item name as well. So like that, you have orders, order ID and quantity. Those things also available here. So finally, what are the thing that we require that we achieve? That means by using the data that we have, we calculated these two results. So here we can analyze that we have taken the S3 bucket data, that is this data files, JSON files, and we have even also taken DynamoDB data, DynamoDB table data, and by using those, that is this orders, DynamoDB orders tables, order table data, you can see this is the data which is present in it. So by using these two, we created what we created. We found out the total price as well as total weight, and we store the result under this CSV file. So in this way, we can able to say that what we can able to say, we can able to say that we can able to take data from multiple sources by using AWS glue job, and we can able to even integrate that, and we can able to store the results inside any one of the AWS service. Now let's see script.py in S3, whether it was updated or not. Since I saved that, right? So that need to be updated. Now I'm just removing the limit and I'm running the query here and just check whether my ETL job script that was updated here or not. You can see that script was updated here. So successfully updated here. So this is what the script that we ran just previously. Yeah. So I hope you understood the video of Glue, AWS Glue, and you understood the details of how to create your Glue job and how to run your Glue job. So we have seen how to do it script by using script editor and visual editor. This notebook also similar to the script editor, but here we write Python script in the form of Python notebook, interactive Python notebook. So that's the only difference. And here the noticeable point here is, so where our ETL job script is stored, this script is stored under our S3 bucket, right? Yes. So that's what the thing, we can able to get the data from multiple sources in real time, and we can able to analyze that data, and we can able to transform that data, and we can able to store that data. Before storing, we can also integrate that data as well by using scripts. So I hope you understood this video and you got some knowledge or knowledge recap from this video, and you understood this video. If you feel this video is contentful and you got some knowledge or knowledge recap, then please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Thanks for watching again. See you back in the next video with another interesting topic. Until then, bye bye guys.